Let's go to this one here. Tiger Woods, top 10 finish? Yes or no? Well, you already heard me say that he's going to miss the cut. I think not that he's going to miss the cut. That if I were to bet on that you take the money there because that's where you get the favorable odds. But he's not going to have a top 10 finish. So I would go no, and look, the numbers there, you can't make money there because it's minus 600.
Yes, I'm going to go with no as well. And I feel like he's going to be atop the leaderboard for the first couple of days, and then the pack is going to go ahead and separate itself from Tiger Woods. I mean, he's not going to be spared any pressure, by the way. He's paired with Jason Day and Dustin Johnson for his first day, so that's going to be an interesting situation.
You know, and that's something to watch to see how Johnson and Day play, and if they're like bombing it off the tees and they're playing well and they're in the hunt, maybe it helps Tiger. At the same time, if Tiger falters, say, a couple holes, and then he's trying to play catch up and he's there and he's trying to compete with just his playing partners, and the wheels could come off really quickly.
It could. I don't think the pressure is going to be so much on him, though, because that he's back on the tour. Because at the Hero World Challenge, he had all of those pressures in terms of the media, in terms of the gallery, in terms of everyone watching Tiger. It's always a big deal when Tiger's on the course, no matter where he's playing or what the event is. So I don't necessarily think the emotions are going to be that high for him. I think it's really just going to be about what his golf game is like. Our producer actually mentioned to me earlier that if the weather is bad, he was hearing that if it's a soft course, that could affect it. And also, walking on a soft course isn't necessarily that good for your back.
Right.
So that's something to take into consideration for him too this weekend.
No, that's a good point. Excellent point there. All right, let's get to this next prop bet here from the Farmers Insurance Open. So we have both decided that he's not going to finish in the top 10, right? So where will he finish? Tiger Woods' finishing position. How are we determining this here? The finishing odds?
Yes.
Let's check this out here. Just roll in the graphic here. I don't think you would be wise to put money on a first place finish. And we've determined not a top 10 finish. But do you go to the next 10? Do you go to the next 10? I don't think he finishes, well, certainly not on that first panel. Okay, now here we're talking. Yeah,
I mean, you say he doesn't make the cut, so.
Yeah. Well, and the odds say that too, right? Look, you can't make money with 51st or worse because it's minus 120. So they're saying that he is going to be in that range.
I'm going to go, if we want to go back to the first page, I'm going to go that he's going to be around the 20-30 range. I think that he's
plus 550.
Plus 550. I think he's going to have not a terrible day, but not the best day ever. It's going to be somewhere kind of in between, but he makes the cut. So for me, you know, that he obviously has to be in a certain range because he made the cut. And he's been playing a lot of golf recently. You know, he is gunning after those majors. He knows exactly what his end goal is. And that's really to chase Jack. And if he's going to do that, he's got to start racking up some wins.
I will say this. If he makes the cut, you're probably closer to being right there because then I think the fact that he did make the cut will put him in that range, knowing the golf course the way he knows it. That's probably not, that's not, you know, thinking too much like that would be too much for him. So I just don't think he's going to make the cut. So that's why I wouldn't put him in the top 30.
Yes, if he doesn't make the cut, then the bottom kind of drops out.
Correct. All right, so we'll see what happens. Terrence Schaefer of PGAtour.com will be joining us. We'll talk a little bit more about the big announcement today that Tiger is going to go with TaylorMade clubs. And tomorrow makes his official return back to the PGA Tour after, 17 months off. So we'll see, just the knowledge of the golf course will help him out and help his confidence because that's one of the biggest things there as far as what we've seen is the last time we saw on the PGA Tour was the mental aspects of the game seemed to be just as much of a problem as the physical aspects.
Right. Well, you saw a short game, so he was great with the birdies, but then he had the most double bogeys out of the tournament, too, in terms of the Hero World Challenge.
Right.
So,
well, I'm even talking about the last time he was on the tour 17 months ago. We were seeing
mentally
we
he
saw what
even,
weekend hackers do, right? I mean, he was just going back and forth over the greens.
Yeah, he wasn't right. Then. So
I mean, I think physically he's fine now.
Right.
We think, right? I mean, as good as it's going to be probably for him after somebody who's had all these surgeries. I think physically he's probably there, but the mental aspects. And then what happens if he has a couple of bad holes in a row? Does he have that Tiger within him to come back and get things right? Or does it spiral some more?
Well, we saw a couple months ago when he had a bad hole, he would come back from it. So I wouldn't think he was that far off from
Again,
where he was mentally
it's different.
there.
It's a different. I'm telling you,
Golf
it's a
in
different
general is
attitude.
just such a different animal in terms of mentality. Well, when we talked to Taryn too about the course, she's walked the course and she's posted some awesome pictures on Twitter that made me so jealous. And the sunsets are so beautiful.
She's got a pretty good gig.
Yeah. So we'll talk to her about the conditions and the weather this weekend too, exactly how that will affect the tournament.
Correct.